Hello there, and if you are looking to consider doing a meditation retreat, this video is for you. I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my personal experiences with doing a full 10-day meditation retreat. And more specifically, if you're searching for a meditation retreat, of course, you probably already realize that there's many different ones. There's different styles of meditation, there's different gurus, there's different locations, different prices. The one that I went to was a Vipassana meditation retreat. It was 10 days. It was totally free. You get two meals, two small vegetarian meals a day, plus a end of the day tea and fruit break. And there was the lodging was included. Again, that lodging was free. All they ask is that you pay it backward. Help to donate so that someone behind you can also enjoy the experience. And unlike some other things, that's the first thing that I noticed is that when people ask for donations, they were definitely not pushy at all. I remember them sending out a couple emails, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing! I have to donate." So I completed the full 10 days. And with that said, in terms of the experiences, some of the things I'm going to go over my personal experience, how I felt during the 10 days. I'm going to go over some of the guidelines that the organization, which is on the website dhamma.org, dhamma.org. That is the organization or the group that hosts these Vipassana retreats, which they can range from between 3 to 10 to 30 days and possibly even longer. So it all depends on what you're looking to achieve. And yes, I couldn't believe it myself. It is totally and completely free, except they do ask for donations at the end, like long after you finish, and they're not even pushy. They don't make you feel any pressure whatsoever. They probably have plenty of people that have had great experiences with it that are willing to continue donating and providing resources so that they can continue to have these amazing meditation retreats. So real quick, just to go over some things. Again, this is the only retreat that I've had experience with. It was 10 days, and I want to start off by saying that it is not a like light, happy. I mean, it can be happy, but it's not like a resort getaway vacation. It is a very intense 10 days meditating from starting at, I believe it was either 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning, and you're going through a daily routine until like 10 o'clock at night. So that's many hours dedicated to meditation, resting between meditations, having snacks, and some of the rules that were included, which were very interesting. And I knew this going in. This wasn't any surprise. Was that you can't have they'll hold your car keys for you. There is no electronics, so you can't bring your phone with you, and you can't bring material for writing or reading. So there's no selfies, there's no Instagramming, there's no journaling, there's no diaries, there's no documenting your experience on paper so that you can remember it. It is just a full 10-day, just intense, full-on meditation retreat. I don't know how else to explain that even more. Now, with the organization, they do host different lengths. Like, I believe there's a 3-day one, a 2-day one, a 30-day one, if you want. And with that said, they do have breaks throughout the day. And at the time I went, which is probably my first recommendation, is pick your time slots, because they do it throughout the year. Pick your time slots specifically, because I went during the summer. I was really excited to go. I heard about it. I was like, that's it. I'm signing up, period. And I went during the summertime. And this was summertime in the desert. This was Joshua Tree, which is basically the desert of California. And it reached like highs of like 114 degrees. And imagine being like in a desert, having to walk from your little room that you're being hosted in to the meditation chamber or room, and then having to go back and forth between lunch and everything. It was really hot. And during the winter, it could be really cold. So just plan accordingly, and there's multiple locations. There's beautiful locations such as near Yosemite. There's other locations such as the desert. So it depends on what you want, but you're going to want to look into, if you do this specific retreat, onto the website. That's dhamma.org. So from the get-go, some of the things I was concerned about, I had like my own personal fears, and not necessarily rational fears. I was like, oh, they're taking my car keys. What if I need to run and take my keys and go home, or like whatever? Just remember, like, make sure that you have your life set, right? You want people to know that you're at this retreat, and you want them to know not to bother you for 10 days. So if you have bank situations, a business, family situations, make sure that you can wrap those loose ends up at least for 10 days. If you can't do that, then you might end early. And here's the thing, they want you to stay for 10 days. That's the goal. They hope that you'll stay for 10 days, and they will attempt, if you're trying to leave, from my understanding, I didn't try to leave, but from my understanding, they will attempt to talk you into, or persuade you to stay for the full 10 days. Because if you're just staying for a couple days, you're really losing out on a lot of the benefits of learning the entire process of meditation, from just learning about your breath to the final experience, which is like on day 10, you're basically, and this is all on their website, but I'm sharing this in video. I don't want to spoil too much, but it is all documented very well on their website, where you have to basically learn to stay still, have stillness, and experience breath and total body. I don't want to call it sensation, because it's not about sensation, but just being totally connected to your body. This isn't like visualization meditation. There isn't somebody to guide you. There isn't at the beginning, between the beginning and the end of each meditation session, there is an explanation of how to proceed with this type of meditation, but specifically Vipassana. It's a very specific type of meditation. It's not for those who might want to visualize and plan their next event, or be more connected to source, or anything like that. There's nothing like that. It's really specifically like just I would call it, and they probably would call it, one of the purest, most most least diluted forms of meditation there is. Literally, the first like 5, 6, 7 days are primarily just you focusing on your breath. And at times I was like, when is this going to end? I want my phone. I want to have thoughts. I'm going to try this other thing that I learned. And they recommend against that. Don't try other things in coordination with this. But, I just couldn't help it, so I did. But if you can, more power to you. And again, that's just my personal experience. I'm sure some people got very intense, and they were literally able to go the full 10 days without a single intruding idea that affected the meditation. Who knows? I think that's almost impossible. But with that said, another thing that's great is it is by Guru Goenka, and he's a very well-respected guru in terms of Vipassana meditation. But on top of that, they also have people who are training, and they are the leaders of each of these meditation retreats. And you can go ahead and ask them questions and sit with them, talk to them, and things like that. They don't push anything. They don't, they don't try to persuade you in anything. These specific leaders, they're just there to help you answer questions and make sure that not just you, but everybody around you is having the proper environment to meditate in silence and in comfort. Or at least, like, comfort is relative. Some people can sit in a full lotus position. Some people can only sit in half lotus. Some people need to kneel. Some people need more pillows. Some people need their own meditation equipment, whatever. And you are allowed to bring various equipment to help you meditate. However, it is the job of these leaders to to make sure that it is a proper environment for everyone. Now, on top of that, just want to go over the experience that was really interesting to me. It's this idea of it is a meditation retreat, of course, but there is also this element of disconnecting from the world. Now, that was very, very, very hard for me. I was sitting in my room alone during some of the break times, and I was just sitting there just thinking, like, what did I get myself into? 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, another 24 hours, 48, 72 hours left, 48 hours left, 24 hours left. Like, it was just such a struggle. It was a challenge. I was like laying there just trying to figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to get through these last 48 hours. Yes, I admit, I personally felt very miserable for like the last seven days. By day 2, I was thinking, what did I get myself into? Because I'm the type of person that needs constant stimulation. I need to, go see different things, be in different places, meet different people. I need to be in different environments, learn different things, be on my phone, check this, check that, get this information. And at the end of the day, despite how uncomfortable it was for me mentally, physically, I could definitely feel a sense of physical like reactions to not having my phone and not being able to get information and be able to do whatever I want at any moment, and get information whenever I wanted. I felt like pangs and discomfort in my body, not necessarily pain, but physical like discomfort or mental discomfort. So I did experience that. But after I got back into the world, after we finished everything, it definitely felt very, very, very rewarding. And overall, I know the meditation probably affected me in some way, in some positive way. I can't really nail it down, but it was overall incredibly helpful to me. And just going back to this concept of the experience and what it entails, there's 2 big things that you'll notice there. One of them is that there is no talking or making eye contact with anyone. You're not supposed to interact with anybody. There's people around you, women and men, depending on if you do a men's only or a women's only retreat. If you're women's and men, there's women on both sides, on separate areas, and they might share the same meditation retreat on different halves of the room, but there's never a moment where they, cross paths until the very last day. After the last day, I should say. So that you do 10 days, you get there, then you do 10 full days of meditation, and then the day after the 10th day, you prepare to leave, you clean up, you get ready, you get to talk to some of the people, make friends, whatever. And it's so interesting to not be able to talk to or make eye contact with anybody for 10 straight days. It's so interesting. And what also made this experience unique for me was it almost felt like I was in a video game. In a sense that I was outside. So imagine this compound. I don't like to use the word compound because there's negative connotation. This facility, compound, this outdoor area, right? That's dedicated specifically to the Vipassana meditation people. And then there's like not a huge fence, but there's like just an area that's blocked off with a big desert, right? I'm in the middle of the desert. There's not much around, just one big main road, and you can't cross over these barriers. Now, these barriers are very small. They're not meant to necessarily prevent you from running away. And hypothetically, there could be people entering, although I felt safe the whole time. There is this concept of, and the cars are enclosed in a big fence. But if you really wanted to, for whatever reason, you wanted to just jump and run into the desert and do whatever, you could have. Or you could have talked to the people or at the event, the volunteers and such, and say, hey, I want to leave. And then you just get your car keys and you go. Or you call an Uber or get whoever to pick you up. But that said, what was most interesting to me, if you've ever played a video game, you probably know what it's like to try walk to the edge of a map, the end barrier of a map, the edge of a map, and not be able to go any further. Or you walk up to a piece of wood or a small wall that's like knee high on this on in a random area, and you can't get past it because they don't want you to go there. That's almost what it was like for this experience. That's almost what it was like for this meditation retreat. And it was so interesting because I would walk up along these paths and I would look at out and I would just be, just realize like, hey, there's so much of the world. I'm standing here. I've been here for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 10 days. And there's so much out there. I mean, it just blew my mind how it's so easy to like isolate yourself. Now, again, in terms of meditation, this is not necessarily the type of stuff that you want to think about. It's really about being in tune with yourself, and everybody has their different experiences. I'm not the guru here, so ignore what I'm saying about what should or what could be felt or whatever. I'm just sharing my personal experiences. But at the end of the day, when I finally got to leave, it was just amazing getting to drive my car. It was like I don't know if you've ever seen like a horror movie where somebody finally escapes this town that's like, and I'm not comparing the experience to a horror experience, but just imagine like being like locked up somewhere or trapped somewhere, and finally you get to drive off into the sunset, or stuck somewhere, and finally you like drive off into the sunset and get to make like your escape. And it's very dramatic now, but like it just feels amazing. You're like re-experiencing the world. It was like a 10-day reset of my experience of the world, reset from my phone, technology, electronics, constant information, constant bombardment, constant like responsibilities. I mean, you have responsibilities when you're there. You're supposed to volunteer to help clean the shared bathrooms and whatnot. You do have shared responsibilities, but I will say that with my experience there, there's it's primarily meditation. And once I was able to finish everything, my goodness, it was like, what is going on? My phone, I turned on my phone and all these updates suddenly came on. And I was like, wow, is that what happens when you don't use your phone for 10 days? It felt like a year that I hadn't had my phone, with all the updates that suddenly came across, text messages, all that. And it's just like this really, that's probably the most exciting thing for me, was the finishing up, wrapping it all up, and then suddenly getting to re-experience the world. It almost felt like new. And with that, some of the questions I've told people about this, and some of the questions that they have is, do you still meditate? And I gotta say, I have not meditated much since. And if I had a reason, I would say because that was so intense that it's hard for me to get back to that experience. Or, I just really haven't had the desire. But prior to that, I was meditating like 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, whatever. But overall, very intense experience. Don't expect that. I would just say, don't expect for meditation, depending on your experiences with it, to just be this casual, chill, relaxing resort vacation where you get to just like be free and do whatever you want. Meditation itself is an exercise that can help you feel more free, be spiritually, physically, mentally more in tune with your mind, your emotions, your thoughts, your physical, all those benefits that we all want and desire from meditation. But the actual practice of it can take a tremendous amount of discipline, and to have to keep that going for 10 days straight with nothing else, especially in our experiences of the world right now, where we're constantly getting bombarded by news every single day, information, new people getting married. We know so much about so many things and get so much information every single second that it almost feels like, what is this? What's going on? This is crazy. I can't believe like what I'm feeling from this meditation retreat. So can be relaxing, but be prepared to have to get a sense of discipline, of preparing yourself. It's not easy. It's a simple activity, but it is not easy to do for that long. And there is a guide all the way through. You go from the most simple, basic meditation of Vipassana, of just focusing on your breath. And as the days progress, you focus a little bit more than just your breath, and you focus on your breath throughout and the sensations in your body. And then on the last few days, I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's the ultimate, not necessarily mastery, but the most almost intense level of meditation. Intense in my perspective. But with that said, that is my experience with the 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat that you can find on Dhamma.org. That's DHAMMA.org. And again, that one is completely free unless you decide that after the event you want to potentially donate some money so that somebody who is going to go there after you have left can also reap some of the benefits no matter what their financial position is. And with that said, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great meditation retreat experience and have a wonderful day.